up, Taiwan? I'm Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A former military police sergeant has been indicted for spying for China. It's the latest in a crackdown on espionage in the military. Tiffany Wong reports.
Debt. That's what prosecutors say drove a former military police sergeant to give sensitive data to a suspected Chinese intelligence organization. They say the 23-year-old was looking for loans when he was targeted online. Now, the former military police officer, surnamed Xu, has been indicted for leaking classified intelligence and accepting bribes.
检察官依违反贪污治罪条例、违背职务受贿罪及违反国家安全法为大陆地区泄露公务机密罪，依法提起公诉，并向法院具体求处有期徒刑6年以上之刑。
The indictment says that military police should be held to a higher moral standard. The investigation revealed that Xu filmed videos, made copies of his military ID, and shared military intelligence with a supposedly anti-war and pro-peace organization based in China in exchange for about $9,700 in loans. He also gave an analytical review of the Taiwanese TV series Zero Day Attack, which depicts a Chinese invasion of Taiwan.
目前已知的共谍案件当中呢，有将近70%都跟军方背景有关，而发展共谍的方式跟路径呢，常常是跟财务状况有关系。
In recent years, prosecutors have been cracking down on Chinese infiltration and espionage. Several cases have involved high-ranking military or government personnel using various means.
凸显中共他在渗透我国的时候，通常还是会利用这个所谓黄金黑原则，就是情感或者是这金钱以及威胁利诱方法来发展它的下线。
As the military continues to weed out spies, the government is trying to strengthen incentives for soldiers to boost morale and retain loyalty, as the security and integrity of the country's biggest defense against China is critical. Delphine Chen and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
At least 9 senior Chinese officials have been removed from office this week after a high-level political meeting in China wrapped up on Saturday. Our reporter Cadence Quaranta spoke to China studies expert Yo Hua-Cun from Akita International University to learn more about what's happening in the Chinese Communist Party.
A number of senior Chinese officials were removed from their positions during a meeting of China's top political advisory body. Can you tell us who these officials are and why they've been removed?
So it seems it is the reason why they are removable is because they are so-called naked official, which has been Xi Jinping's anti-corruption target for about 10 years. Naked official means China's party officials and state officials and whose spouse or children they will live overseas and having foreign citizenship or visa. The thing is, she has been always worried about the loyalty of the party officials and state officials. So these group of people, naked officials, they might have some loyalty issue because they have family members, immediate family members overseas, and they have some foreign assets as well. So she really worries that these group of officials might leak some state secret.
What is the significance of this in the broader context of the state of the Chinese Communist Party right now?
I think the real reason is she really wants to target his potential political enemies or their proteges, right? So every Chinese leaders in the past 5 generations, from Mao, Deng, Jiang, Hu, Xi, they all use anti-corruption for political reasons. Not really because those officials who are removable they are corrupted, but because they are potential enemies of who got in power. So we have to see this news in a much more broader context of Xi's anti-corruption campaign against his political rivals. And the political system of China under Xi Jinping's leadership is becoming more and more similar to that of Mao Zedong era. Right? Xi became the only person who matters in this system. And almost every party officials, state officials, even military officials, they need to listen to Xi Jinping's wishes. And she trying to use this anti-corruption campaign to show everyone is disposal.
So I guess what effects is this centralization of power having inside China?
Important phenomena that we have seen so far. For one, China's policy making may not be so efficient and effective compared to about 10 years ago. Because since everyone needs to listen to Xi, so if I were her party members, I would just let Xi decide everything. But the problem is Xi just one single person. He only has 24 hours, so it's impossible for him to decide everything. So the problem about Xi Jinping's political system is everything become much more slower and become much more efficient because of the limit of Xi Jinping's time and also his capability.
And what effects could it have in the future?
The problem is Xi at some point in the future he needs to go retire, or he might have some health issues, right? So that is something that everyone is worried about once Xi is gone for unknown reasons. So the politics of China, even the political order in the Indo-Pacific region might really set into chaos, right? Because there's no potential successor of Xi.
That was Assistant Professor Yo Hua-Chun from Akita International University. A Trump pick for a top defense job says the U.S. is working to reduce delays in advanced weapons transfers to Taiwan.
I think on this specific case, the department is working very urgently and expeditiously to ensure that Taiwan has the capabilities that it needs to defend itself.
Dahmer was responding to questions from a senator about delays in the delivery of U.S.-made Harpoon missile systems to Taiwan. The U.S. agreed to sell Taipei 100 of these systems during the first Trump administration. So far, only a few have been delivered. U.S. officials have blamed supply chain issues for the delays. China has placed new conditions on Taiwan's participation in next year's APEC forum. Taiwan's foreign minister has protested the move, and the U.S. is also opposed. Once again, Cadence Quaranta reports.
Just days after this year's Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea wrapped up, attention has shifted to next year's summit, where Taiwan's participation is now in question. As an APEC member economy, Taiwan has the right to attend the regional forum every year, and does. But in 2026, the summit will be held in Shenzhen, China. And this week, China said that to be able to participate, Taiwan will have to comply with Beijing's One China principle, which states that Taiwan is a part of China, something Taiwan's government rejects. Taiwan's foreign minister, Lin Jialong, had this to say about the condition.
中国我想在国际上对于我们明年参加在北京在我们明年参加在深圳举办的 APEC 大会那么附加了很多条件那这个都是违反当时的承诺我们会捍卫我们的权利也会协调这个理念相近国家一起来加以反制
Taiwan previously said China had guaranteed in writing that its 2026 delegation members would be able to participate equally and would be kept safe. That's as Beijing steps up efforts to intimidate Taiwan and isolate it diplomatically, and has declared promoting Taiwanese independence a serious crime. Now, it appears that whatever agreement may have been made may be off the table. In a statement, a U.S. State Department spokesperson criticized China's new requirement, saying it, quote, insists on the full and equal participation of all APEC member economies, including Taiwan, referred to as Chinese Taipei and APEC, consistent with APEC's guidelines and rules. This all comes as China says it discussed its One China principle in meetings with several countries on Tuesday, including officials from Pacific Island nations and Russia, which China said reaffirmed their commitment to the principle. It also said Russia supported UN Resolution 2758, which China interprets as supporting its claims to Taiwan, though the resolution does not in fact address Taiwan's status. In response, Taipei slammed both China and Russia.
对于俄中合流屡次挑战国际现状、贬损我国主权地位的不当主张，外交部表达严正抗议。中华民国台湾是主权独立的民主国家，与中华人民共和国互不隶属。
China also said it hoped Estonia would adhere to the One China principle after a meeting with its foreign minister, amid talks to allow Taiwan to set up a representative office in the EU member state. These countries, one expert said, are ones that will more easily accept the principle.
俄罗斯因为跟中国的关系变得越来越密切，所以俄罗斯当然很容易接受中国的这种 narrative。那另外像 也许像爱沙尼亚或者是这个太平洋岛国，基本上都是小国。我们可以看，就是说，支持中国对于2758号决议的这个 interpretation 的国家，基本上都是所谓的 Global South 的国家居多。
But this isn't something new. Beijing has been pushing its One China principle for many years. Its pressure and exclusion, something Taiwan has to deal with every day. But this time the Chinese government is laying down a marker a year in advance, forcing a confrontation over the issue, and it's not clear what compromise, if any, can be arrived at between now and the next APEC forum. Hank Xu and Cadence Quaranta for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has opened registration for the public to get cash handouts of about $320 US. It's part of an $18 billion special budget to help people weather the impact of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs on Taiwanese goods and inflation. Taiwanese nationals, foreigners with permanent residency, and foreign spouses of Taiwan citizens are all eligible for the money. Locals are generally looking forward to the extra cash.
在不景气的压力当中，有一点点舒缓，所以大家第一件事情就是想要出国啊，全家能够一起去透透气啊，散散心。我觉得这个是让有一种被照顾的感觉了。
有钱来就好了，所以我不会太在乎说你到底发多少钱给我。
对一般人当然都不够啊，1万块的话，应该就日常生活用品买一买就没了吧。
People could start receiving the handouts as early as November 11th. The government is also warning people to be on the lookout for scams during the process. Popular Malaysian rapper Namewee has surrendered himself to Kuala Lumpur police after authorities named him as a person of interest in the murder of a Taiwanese influencer.
我觉得伍佰大哥的歌呢，对我来说是一个很有本土的态度。
From celebrating veteran Taiwanese singer Wu Bai to poking fun at Chinese netizens, Malaysian rapper Namewee's music is well known here in Taiwan. He's known for his unapologetic behavior and sometimes goofy personality. And that's why it came as a shock to many in Taiwan that he's been tied to a murder investigation. The victim is 31-year-old Iris Xie, an online influencer. She was found dead on October 22nd in a hotel room in Kuala Lumpur. Namewee was also there, and police found 9 blue pills on him. He was arrested on the spot, and drug tests later showed he had 4 different illegal substances in his system. At first, Xie's death was ruled a sudden death, but authorities reclassified her case as a murder and listed Namewee as a person of interest.
We initially approached this case as a sudden death, but after further review, we reclassified the cause of death and are now investigating it as a murder.
In a statement on social media, Namewee says he's turned himself into the police and that he will cooperate with the investigation. He also attached a video of himself outside the police station.
I know it's insulting, but now it's already become just a race name. No other meaning at all.
Namewee is known for his outspoken behavior. And to some extent, that's part of his appeal. But millions of his fans are now shocked at his potential involvement in this murder case. Howard Zhang, Jay Liang, and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus. A 2-week ban on the transport and slaughter of pigs due to cases of African swine fever is set to be lifted later on Thursday. The government's emergency response team said after weeks of testing, the disease has been contained at the original farm in Taichung, central Taiwan. Investigators said the pigs got sick from improperly cooked kitchen waste. The incident put one of the country's biggest agricultural sectors on hold. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Before we go, we're traveling to the Caeria River in Peru's Amazon region, where more than 6,500 turtle hatchlings were released. I'm Liao. Take care and see you next time.